Yearning for Moshiach, episode number 5. Hearing footsteps of Moshiach. Is this deja vu? Deja vu? Have we really all been here before? Does it feel like that to anyone? For most of us on a conscious level, probably not. But when we go beyond what we feel and plumb the depths of our deeper collective unconscious, it is nothing less than deja vu. Yes, we have been here before. What do I mean? Without any power to stop it or even slow it down, we are witnessing the world that we have always known to be spinning out of control. Conflicts between individual countries carry within them the growing threat of world war, which could easily spill over into nuclear. The vilification of Israel has become a weekly, if not daily, occurrence. That thin and disingenuous distinction between being anti-Israel and being a timeless anti-Semite has all but disappeared. The hatred of our people and accompanying violence have become practically daily occurrences, while for the most part still targeted at individuals. As these unchecked protests and rhetoric grow, both in worldwide demonstrations and on social media, there is a growing threat that these could morph into violence on a larger scale, chas v'sholem. Many of us have this foreboding sense that we are heading into perilous and explosive times. In Eretz Yisrael, the Olam Batorah is under assault by a Jewish government and a Jewish army, as Bochrim, sitting and steiging in yeshiva, live in fear of being arrested for learning the Torah Kedosha. With both astonishment and fear, we ask, where is this all leading to? What's going to be? One thing is certain. As the problems continue to increase and become more severe, many of us have this sinking feeling that the Geula that Hashem has promised us is moving further and further away. And yet, strangely enough, this is where the Deja Vu begins. What am I talking about? Let's take a look at how Moshe Rabbeinu reacted to a situation almost exactly like ours. The Rebbeinu Shalom told Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen to stand before Paro, the most powerful man in the world. They were not instructed to ask Paro to allow the Jewish people to leave Mitzrayim, but rather to demand in the name of Hashem, Shlach Ami V'Aduni, send out my nation so they should serve me. Not only was Paro unimpressed, but he decided to punish the Yidden for their leader's insolence by taking away the straw they needed to make the bricks. This effectively made their unimaginably difficult situation impossible. Moshe was confused and distraught. Hashem sent the power to bring the Geula. Not only was there no Geula, but the situation was deteriorating and was traveling in the opposite direction at high speed. And how different is our situation today? We know that we're on the precipice of the Geula, and yet things are moving quickly away from it. Are we better than Moshe Rabbeinu? He was broken by what he observed and asked Hashem point blank, Lama Hariosa, why are you doing such terrible things to your nation? Ever since you sent me to Paro, it keeps getting worse. Why did you send me? And why shouldn't we think the same? The Geula seems to be slipping away from us, chas v'sholem, as well. But before answering that question, we need to drill down a bit deeper to understand the way that Hashem brings Geula. The Vilna Gaon shows from the Pasuk in Yeshaya that the Chevli Mashiach, the birth pangs of Mashiach, mirror the Chevli Deina Mamish, those pains and difficulties that a mother experiences before birth. And it's not just the general pain associated with having a baby, but the frequency and the intensity of that pain increase unabated up until the moment of birth itself. After Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen demanded that Paro set the Yidden free, the Pasuk tells us, Tichber ha'avoda. The work became even more difficult. But contrary to our simple understanding, Paro took away the straw not because he was taking revenge against Hashem, chas v'sholem, but rather because as the Geula became closer, the pain and difficulty needed to increase. Paro's reaction was the apparent cover for what Hashem intended all along. So too Hashem is taking away our straw and increasing the frequency and the intensity of our difficulty and our difficulties as we draw closer to the Geula. But as we'll see momentarily, contrary to what we might think, this is not because we need to despair. It's not a cause for that despair, but rather for hope and yearning that the Geula that is coming ever, ever closer. To complete the thought, let's return to Yetzias Mitzrayim, more specifically as to how Hashem answered Moshe Rabbeinu's question, Lama Yosa, why are you doing such terrible things to your nation? Moshe asked, why do things continue to get worse? Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Atah tira Yeshuas Hashem. Now you will see the Yeshua. What does this word now mean? Why didn't Hashem just say, you will see? What was Hashem referring to by telling them, now you will see? The Kli Yakar explains that Hashem was telling Moshe Rabbeinu that the path to Geula is counterintuitive. You, Moshe, think that as the situation deteriorates, the Geula is becoming further away. Just the opposite is true. Just as the coldest part of the winter is just before the advent of the spring, and the darkest part of the night is the moment before the dawn, so too the most painful and difficult time of the Geula is the moment just before the Geula. Hashem told Moshe that it's dafka now that the Geula is so intolerable that the Geula is ready to come. But why is this so difficult for us to grasp? The answer is simple. Because our minds are rational. We discern patterns and based on them make predictions. We think inside the box. But it's not really that Hashem thinks outside the box. For Hashem, there is no box. He's not limited to what we consider rational thought. He does whatever he wants, however he wants. And his path to Geula illustrates just that. We would think the Geula is the final step in some orderly sequence, the last piece of the puzzle, the next segment of the pattern. But Chazal tell us, Yeshua Hashem keheref ayin. Yeshua comes in the blink of an eye, literally out of nowhere. And the more we understand this, the more we internalize it, and the more we live it, the more we will be able to protect ourselves from reacting to our deteriorating situation with fear and yush. And instead we will know that as those Chevle Mashiach increase in frequency and intensity, we are drawing ever closer to the Geula. Our yearning for Mashiach will become the she'ifa of our lives. And as things get more difficult, that she'ifa will just increase. And this she'ifa will both define who we are and what we are living for.